sometimes you would wish na sana naintindihan nila, don't sweat on the small stuff. Sometimes they argue about the littlest things about the wedding itself, which is just one day.
Yeah.
The real thing happens the day after the wedding, till forever.
So better to invite yung talagang close kasi sometimes nawawalan na rin ng di ba,
Heart.
essence or heart yung wedding na hindi mo nga nakita to
okay.
buong life mo tapos biglang nandiyan sa wedding mo.
Right.
Hi, I'm Anthony Pangilinan,
And I'm Maricel Laksa Pangilinan.
and welcome to Marriage is a Marathon.
The podcast season 2.
So kung season 1, kami ni Maricel nag-uusap, sharing everything we knew. Wow, buti na lang season 2 may mga kasama kami. Because in a marathon, you never run alone. You run with a community. People who have run before you, those who are trying to run with you, your coaches, the crowd. So, season 2, may mga hinila kaming mga kaibigan na matagal na rin nagsasama. And we would love to learn from them.
Yes, this time we want to learn from them. But before that, we want to thank people who've supported us throughout our episodes. And that's Kabalen.
Yes! Salamat, Kabalen. You know, Laksa is from Makabebe.
Yes.
Pangilinan is from Santo Tomas. So, Kabalen, perfect. Long days and nights of taping. You've been with us all the way.
Yes.
Salamat.
Having meals that are comforting and, of course, close to our hearts is really something that's a blessing for all of us. Thank you so much for your support in Marriage is a Marathon, the podcast season 2.
So, simulan na natin ang
Yes.
ating episode with...
The Power Couple! Nako,
Wow.
I love these two. At I'm so happy, pumayag silang dalawa ha. Kasi normally isa lang makikita mo dyan. So let's welcome Dax, Jibby, and Charisse Pino.
Yes, from Nice Print. Salamat. Thank you
Of
for being with
course.
us.
Our pleasure all the time to
Oo.
be invited by Anthony and Maricel. Thanks, guys.
They're
You know-
also part of our book.
First
Sila
question.
gumawa ng cover, ng mga photos. Thank you so much. Nice print.
Anytime.
O, straight na ako dun sa...
go.
Ang dami yung mga ginagawang same-day edit na mga videos na napaka-heavenly ng dating nung wedding. Hindi ba kayo nape-pressure na kailangan pag-uwi nyo sa bahay, heavenly rin yung marriage ninyo?
Of course, heavenly naman parati.
Wow, good answer, Jim.
Nakita ko yung tingin
Wala
ni
pong
Charisse.
pressure, wala pong pressure. Bakit hindi ganun yung halik natin? Bakit iba yung yakap natin? Ba't hindi yung ganun? Wala bang ganun? Pressure?
Actually, in anything, I always say, wala namang perfect. Walang perfect na wedding day. Walang perfect na marriage in that same manner, no? So, heavenly, syempre, we only hope and pray na ganun lagi. Pero syempre, sa totoong buhay, day to day, talaga naman minsan nagkakainisan. Part of life, di ba?
Mas masaya nga yung ganun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
May season makeup, di ba?
Paano nyo na-overcome ang inisan? O saan nanggagaling yung inis sa isa't isa?
Well, actually, sa amin dalawa is more of work.
Yeah, of course.
More
Of course.
But
Because you work together.
Yeah, but
Correct.
as a couple, wala. As in, okay. No problem.
How you deal with it? Pag nandyan na, dahil sa trabaho, nagkakainisan.
I mean, we have this parang division lang na pag alam mong mainit na ulo niya, medyo step back ka.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
Kaya mo, ha?
You understand eh. You'll
Kaya mo
understand.
step back, ha?
Oo naman.
Han,
Ay,
step back.
Sila ini-interview na.
Yeah, we're learning from
Parang
them.
siya, parang kami, it's hard, to be married to the same person you work with every day. It's
Oo.
really, it's not a joke, it's a challenge. But siguro what we've learned through 23 years being married and 20 years doing Nice Print is may boundaries everything.
Yun.
Parang minsan talagang we try not to talk about business pag nasa kwarto na sana or pag nagdi-dinner.
Oo.
Kasi kung hindi, wala nang stop time. But yeah, pag
So
work
conscious
time,
kayo, you're trying to
yeah,
do that.
consciously, oo,
Okay,
very,
okay.
very intentional yon
Oo.
na hindi kami mag-uusap, lalo na pagharap yung mga bata. Ceasefire. Kumbaga.
Usually, pag vacation mode kami,
Oo.
Yeah.
or
Also.
anything, hindi kailangan out of the country, but dito lang sa Philippines. Pagkasama kids, talaga we try na tigil muna ang...
Pinagkasunduan nyo ba yan or it just fell
It
into
comes
place
eh.
or what?
It
Did you
comes
talk
through
about
the years.
it? Meron ba
Yeah.
kayong mga ground rules na napagkasunduan?
Yun, well, rules namin is, si Jib may hard stop with pakikipag-chika-chika ko sa telepono sa gabi.
Aha.
Kasi
Yeah,
dati,
hard stop
let's
pala.
face it, no, nung earlier on in the marriage, hindi mo pa naman alam yung mga do's and don'ts. So it's more of like a request from my husband na sa events kasi, di ba, guys, hindi siya tumitigil.
Of course.
Oo.
Until 2 a.m.
Walang hard stop siya sa
Wala.
gabi.
May makakausap ako na
Tuloy-tuloy.
event stylist, na coordinator. They're all up and about at midnight. So that was one rule that stuck in my head na ayaw ni Jib na sana, Char, pag 11 p.m., 10 p.m., huwag ka na tumanggap ng tawag. Kasi
Oo.
kung hindi, wala na rin
Wala na.
magiging stop time. Everybody
Tapos
to
mahirap ma-ignore pag request.
Oo.
Diba? Request ng
Lalo
asawa.
na.
Hindi command no? Pag request, parang,
And you tend to think more eh.
oo nga.
Yeah.
Oo
Pero
nga.
I'm sure
Mas
meron
open
tayong-
Hindi
yun.
ka marerelax.
Dati siguro, or maybe even now, na kahit na meron na kayong hard stop or boundaries, meron ding times na bigla kayong magigising tas may concept kayong naisip.
Oo
meron
nga.
bang times
Oo,
na
yeah,
gano'n?
yeah, yeah,
Paano
yeah.
yun?
Siguro kami, pagka brilliant ideas naman, syempre it's spontaneous.
Oo.
We talk about it in the plane, pag may naisip, there are no hard rules naman in these things. But I guess, yung mga things na pwede namang i-delay mo na bukas, sa work time na lang, which
Yeah.
is office hours. So pag weekend, we try not to, talk about the hard stuff muna.
Okay, nothing is such a great teacher like experience. Ilang daan na ang napagdaanan yung mga wedding, 'di ba? And events.
Correct.
Curious lang ako.
Nabibilang nyo pa?
Medyo mahirap na.
Hina. Curious lang ako. Anong nakikita niyong red flag? Parang alam, hindi magtatagal to. I mean, I'm sure meron na kayong instinct kasi nakita niyo ng lahat.
Yeah.
What tells you from the very start, okay to, this will succeed? What
Siya.
tells you na, ay nako, may problema to?
Ako sa mga, siyempre, di ba? Sa mga meetings, di ba?
Doon pa lang.
Yung mga ikakasal pa lang, Siguro pag nakikita mo na non-stop yung away,
Nag-aaway doon pa lang sa
doon pa lang.
meeting.
Sa preparation.
Oo, sa preparation pa lang. And sometimes I just wanna say, syempre wala ka namang sa position, no? To advise right there and then.
Of course.
But sometimes you would wish na sana naintindihan nila that don't sweat on the small stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes they argue about the littlest things about the wedding itself, which is just one day.
Yeah.
And I always say, pag nakakapalagayan na namin ng loob, di ba, Jib, lagi na sinasabi, the real thing happens the day after the wedding till forever.
I love what she said. Did you hear her term? Nakikipagpalagayang loob is a level of closeness
Yeah.
that you develop with your partners, your
Yes.
clients,
Relationship.
when you can speak, from the
Exactly.
heart, di ba?
Timing yan,
Oo,
di ba?
oo,
Hindi
ganda
ka
na
naman pwedeng magsalita lang, just,
isa lang isa. I want more. So isa yung parati nag-aaway. Ano pa yung mga
ikaw.
signs na nakita mo na, medyo.
Sa mga grooms, ako sabihin ko lang sa mga groom, hayaan na nyo sa bride yan, yung party na yan.
Oo.
That's
Okay.
their, yung dream nila yan.
So good yun. Good yun when the groom
Just
is
be
not
on-
so picky and says, sige han, siya na
paano
bahala.
kung
It's
yung
their day,
groom-
actually. It's for the bride.
Kung yung
Okay,
groom yung
okay.
gustong manguna, paano yan?
Ganun din ganun.
Kasi ako nung wedding ko Sige,
Bisita lang siya.
Sabi niya mag-attend lang daw ako nung
Bisita
wedding.
lang siya.
Napadalan lang ng invitation yan. Umattend naman.
Kasi sa wedding namin, nag-attend lang ako.
Oh, wow.
Baliktad naman.
Yeah, siya
Oo,
lahat.
Ako ang
Oo.
coordinator.
Wow.
Which is the
Wow.
best kasi wala akong alam dyan.
So sabi niya, red flag para... Han, ito huwag tayong mawala. Red flag, parati nag-away. Green flag, when the groom is willing to, not sweat the small stuff, give it
right.
to the wife.
Yeah.
Meron pa
Ako,
kayong
red
sign?
flag, minsan nakikita ko yung guy, yung groom, pagka sobra siguro yung, which is not really wrong entirely, yung pagiging mama's boy, no? Very very common yan sa Pilipino, sa mga pamilyang Pilipino. And there's nothing wrong with it. Siguro nagiging red flag lang yung parte na hindi na makapagdesisyon ang isang groom about
okay.
things. Tapos
Okay.
the bride will always have to take a step back.
Walang leadership.
Okay. Walang salita kasi lahat,
Oo.
ma'am. What do you think, ma'am?
Oh no.
Wow.
Okay.
And to me, magpapakasal ka na. Naiintindihan mo ba na pag nagpakasal ka, you will leave your parents.
Meron na ako naisip na negosyo kasama nila.
Ano pala?
Every time nakita yung red flag, pwede mo tawagin niyo si Anthony.
Ayan. Seminar muna to. Anthony, Maricel, may bago akong
Hotline pala kami, no?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nakakatuwa pagka inisip mo.
So, nakikita mo na talaga early on. No?
Well, these are indications Diagnostics yan, di ba?
Yeah.
Nakikita mo na siya
Makikita mo, mapapansin mo. But we always hope and pray na sana magtagal, di ba?
May pag-asa pa naman. Meron
Siyempre,
naman,
siyempre
while
naman.
there is life, there is hope. Sabi nga,
Maybe
di ba?
another green flag para naman mabalance.
O sige, ano pa isang green flag? Wow.
Parang red flag.
In fact, it's inspiring. Tell us one situation
Well,
where
here's another red flag.
No. For green flag siguro, maybe siguro, pag makita mo talaga yung couple na talagang in harmony sila when they plan the wedding.
okay. Yung
Like,
union na
Yun yun na, pag
nakikita
sinabi
nyo
niya ito,
na.
yes, okay, tama yan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's something na, okay,
Magandang
hindi
foundation.
mag-aaway
Ano,
to.
yung they have the same values. They value the same things.
Yeah.
Walang small away-away on the side
Yeah.
na just because may isang part na gustong gawin ni bride na i-highlight.
Yeah.
Yung ganun ba? Those little things, it matters. Kasi it means, kung dito pa lang sa onset ng inyong wedding planning nagkakasundo na kayo, talagang sa marriage, makikita mo na maglalast to, no? Tsaka, siguro, to add, no, lastly is, makikita mo talaga yung green flag is, pag nakita mo yung couple nag-i-invest talaga doon sa lifelong pagsasama nila, yung hindi buhay at kamatayan yung wedding day lang. Kasi sayang.
Beyond the event, no?
Yeah, na parang
Yeah.
they also think about practical things like, okay, hindi natin pwede ubusin yung pera natin sa isang araw kasi kailangan may bahay pa tayo, 'di ba? And excited din sila sa honeymoon kasi that's the time that they spend time together as a couple for the first time supposed to be. And these things it makes me smile because they see the bigger picture, not just one day.
Well, connected na tong question na to dun sa sinasabi mo. Kung meron kayong advice sa mga starting couples na magwe-wedding pa lang,
Yan.
what is that one advice you will give them?
Siguro ako sa practical side, no, yung hindi nila kailangang sundan lahat nung nakikita nila sa trends.
Aha.
This
Okay.
society.
Huwag kang conform ng conform.
Yeah, this generation, nabuhay talaga sila na lahat nasa social media. Everything they see, parang yun na yung teacher nila, yun na yung mentor nila, everything that they see
Gotcha.
online. And I feel like your wedding is you. So you do you, right? Kung ano talaga yung gusto nyo, hindi yung makikiuso. And that's what I always ask our brides and groom na, what is it that you really like? What is your dream wedding? Not because you saw it somewhere or gusto mo makigaya. Pero dapat yung sa puso mo, it's something that you really like. And
Ang
when you look
puso.
back to it,
Hindi lang uso.
yes,
Diba?
tama.
Galing.
Rhyming. When you look back to it 10 years later, yung alam mong yun yung ginusto mong wedding, hindi because nakita mo sa idol mo lang. Diba?
Wag lang yung trending, di ba?
Yes.
Ang
Saka
maganda
siguro
sa...
yung choosing
okay.
din your visitors.
Nako,
Diba?
controversial yan. Oo.
That's
Siguro
unique,
better
ah.
kung talagang close ka.
yes.
So better to invite yung talagang close ka.
Kasi pag
Sometimes-
hindi, anong
Sometimes
consequence?
nawawala na rin ng di ba,
Heart.
essence or heart yung wedding na hindi mo nga nakita to
okay.
buong life mo tapos biglang nandiyan sa wedding mo.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Bigang sponsor.
Kasi sa Pilipino, di ba, parang obligation mo na i-invite even yung friends ng mga
Hindi lang
magulang mo kahit
obligation,
hindi mo
status
kilala.
ko.
Yeah.
Depende kung sino yung
At saka,
principal sponsor mo.
Samaan ng loob pag hindi na-imbita. But you know that part that GB saying, na-reset yan because of the pandemic.
Namili
The
na
pandemic,
ang mga tao.
natuto yung Pilipino na okay lang naman pala, hindi maimbita lahat. Extended family,
Hindi yung buong barangay.
Wow.
Same words. Buong barangay. Yung okay lang pala. So nauso yung intimate. And I think the couples these days, they like it that way. And you know what? One thing we noticed nung panahon natin, Ate Maricel, di ba magulang natin usually yung nagbabayad ng weddings.
Yes.
That was a norm
Yeah.
in the 90s,
Yeah.
right? Even early 2000s. But now, dahil mas matanda na nagpapakasal yung generation na to, and they've earned, something and saved up, so sila na yung gumagastos sa wedding nila.
Yeah.
Therefore,
good.
hindi na nila kailangan makisama. Dahil hindi na yung magulang ang nagbabayad.
Oo
So that's
nga.
that's one thing I really
Galing
noticed.
Kaya yung mga magulang na nagpapaalam kung sino pwede
Oo
imbita.
nga, ang ganda nun, ano?
Ibang-iba.
Nagiging intimate tuloy, di ba?
Yes.
Ano pwedeng mga marriage counselors talaga itong
Oo.
dalawang to?
20 years ba naman nakita na nila binyag?
Lahat.
First birthday,
Lahat.
seventh birthday, tapos
Oo.
nagkaroon
Debut.
ng debut.
Oh, tapos
Oo.
50th
Nagpakasal
wedding
na ulit.
anniversary, di ba? Pati
Exactly.
yun.
Lahat
Yes,
na.
lahat na.
Sa kayo na-inspire.
Huwag naman libing, no?
Meron bang event na, I'm sure meron kahit isa, na kayo mismo yung na-inspire? Could have been maybe a wedding anniversary. Ikaw, meron ka bang natatandaan na a
Ako,
moment where, wow, this
Ako sa
makes my
mga
job
vows
worth
ng
it.
mga couples.
Vow. Yung
Talagang
vow.
ako, pag nag-attend ako, minsan naiyak pa ako talaga eh. Because ang ganda ng
Tunaw.
mga vows nila eh. Yung talagang
Yung sila mismo nagsulat ng
sincerity
vow
nila
nila,
to
no?
each other
yeah.
when they have their vows. Talagang makikita mo yung pure heart nila together.
Wow.
How about you, Charisse?
One wedding na siguro very, very inspiring dahil kakaiba siya was the wedding of Tita Boots, Anson
Oh
Rowe.
my gosh.
And, di
We
ba,
love them.
Tito Rodrigo.
Yeah.
That was
69 yung
Exceptionally
babae, 75
wonderful.
yung lalaki.
Yes, they were like in their late 60s. Tito was like 70s. And they chose to get married, no?
Galing.
Ang galing. Tungtuwa ako. Hindi siya golden wedding. Hindi siya silver wedding. First marriage nila to each other.
Grabe.
So I realized na it's not about age.
Yes.
It's not about just what the society dictates. It's what these two people feel at that moment, and they wanted to, to be blessed by the Lord. That was amazing.
And I was amazed at the fact na yung mother of the groom ang nag-walk na
Nag-walk na lang.
105 years old.
Exactly.
Wow.
Ibang level.
That's touching. Iba
That was
yun.
touching. And then recently, we covered the 10th anniversary wedding of Pauline Soto and, Bossing.
Mm.
That was also super kilig na kilig ako kasi imagine, syempre si Bossing, he's not naman super young na, 'di ba? When pinakasalan niya si Pauline. Tapos umabot sila ng 10 years anniversary. And na akala ko dati, nung unang nagpaplano kami ni Pauline, akala ko si Pauline ang may gusto. Kasi syempre bride,
Of course.
young, 'di ba?
Yeah,
May mga dreams in her head and all that. Si Bossing ang may gusto.
Wow.
Galing.
Nakakatuwa, 'di ba? Parang, and I think the inspiration there was they wanted to have this 10th year anniversary because the kids are already there to see it. So, Tali is there and Mochi is there to witness it. And they were there in the first wedding,
That's
of course.
right.
So, kaya yun yung nagiging inspiration din ng mga couples ngayon mag-renewal. Kasi yung mga anak
Of
nila
course.
parte na.
Of course.
Yeah.
We'll be back after this short break.
I want to know why it's called Midnight Dream. Hello, Nico.
Welcome to our studio. Welcome
Thank
to
you,
Midnight
thank you, thank you, thank
Dream.
you. Bakit siya tinawag na Midnight Dream?
For creativity, basically, So people can come here and be creative. They can shoot photos. They can do video shoot, podcasts, workshops.
It wasn't like this
talks.
before. Dati photo lang, di ba?
Photo lang before, photo focused lang. We have 40 plus studio spaces. So we call it dream sets. So anything that you dream of and
Right.
aspire to be and dream to create, we do have it here. So we have this Korean space here,
I love
Korean
this.
dream set.
Ganda.
So right across is a Korean costume rental. So people can actually rent their costumes there. They come here and then they take pictures. Gusto nila yung ma-fulfill yung kanilang Korean novella fantasies. Yes.
You're here almost all the time.
Yes, every day.
What is it about this place that makes you come alive?
Every time I come here, I just, the creativity just really bursts and, you think of new things and new ideas.
Kasi naman talagang background mo di ba?
Yeah.
Photography, no? Ever since?
Yes, ever since. 25 years.
What's the biggest challenge when you have something like this?
Apart from the place being so big, there's the need to continually think of something new.
Tama.
Because we just can't be the same all the time.
So, I'm gonna keep on coming back here.
Yes.
I'm gonna expect, okay, anong bagong concept?
Correct,
Diba?
correct.
Pero-
So which is why we do have some seasonal sets like this Imperial Room, which we launched last Chinese New Year. So bago to, the last time I think you visited, wala pa siya. So this is a set that comes with costumes. So people who would avail to have a shoot here can also access the costumes as well.
Ano ang pinaka-dream mo?
To be honest, this was one of my dreams. But I only dreamt of something smaller, right?
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity came, I told my friend, I'm not sure if I can take on this opportunity. But my friend says, you know what? If the universe gives you something this big, you have to be ready and you have to say yes.
This is what was available.
Yes.
Hindi siya mas maliit.
And this
Di ba?
is
Di ba? Hindi
this is
siya-
more than what I asked for. So
Yeah, and it's such a fulfillment to see people's dreams come true.
absolutely.
Di ba? Parang,
You know, I've always been a dream enabler. So
I like that.
Yeah, so I
a
always
dream
tell
enabler.
people, if your dreams hasn't been happening yet for you, make other people's dream come true.
Yeah.
Thank
you for having
you.
us.
Let's get practical. Let's get practical. So you work together. Okay? You say you have boundaries. That's one thing we're picking up from you.
That's right.
Meron pa ba kayong mga time management tips as a couple who work together on the same projects almost every day? O paano?
Yeah.
Paano nyo minamanage yung oras nyo na pwede naming
Nakuha.
matutunan, makuha? Kahit kami ni Maricel, we also work together eh.
Oo. No, usually kami, we start our day midday na because nasa events nga kami. No? So, ang time management siya, she goes to other events. Tapos ako, I follow na lang din sa last event niya. Because ako, I do most of the operations.
Yeah.
So, siya yung talagang PR and marketing.
Yeah.
So dividing that
Yeah.
that
So,
growth
Toka-toka kayo.
Exactly. Hahati na kami ng things to do.
Dati hindi.
Dati hindi.
Dati sabay parati.
Sabay dati.
Oo.
Napaka-clingy. Hindi pwede, mahirap makatapos ng mga things to do. So ngayon natuto na kami na hiwalay in some parts of the day. Pero at the end, lagi kami magkikita niyan. Tsaka siguro yung time management is, marami kasi kaming events abroad, no? So we always try to squeeze in date time, date night, or sabay na sa vacation.
Yeah.
Pag pupunta, let's say, ng Europe for a wedding ng isang client. So, syempre, mag-extend kami ng mga 1 more week. So, we can be together. Yan yung mga practical tips. Diba?
Tsaka yung mga wine nights namin.
Ayan, yan.
Ayan.
Date nights. Lahat ng possible time. Kahit gaano ka busy.
Why night meron kayo?
Yes.
Bitayin nyo
Wine.
naman kami. Kasi type of wine.
Anytime. Masarap pa na wine.
Favorite namin.
Basta wine. That's the magic word kay Anthony.
Oh, wow. Pareho tayo. Kami rin.
So, we're talking about marriage in a marathon. As in, the marathon of life. So, para sa inyo, anong stage na kayo ng inyong marathon?
Oh, wow.
Are you in the beginning? Are you midpoint? Have you hit a wall?
42 kilometers yan 42 kilometers. So kung 42, nasa na kayo?
Oo,
Kalahati na ba?
mahaba.
30th na ba?
Oo.
Tayo, ano na ba tayo? Mga 30 plus na tayo, no? Mga ganyan.
21. Di nasa 21.
So na half
Oh,
na
half
kayo.
Kalahati.
Oo.
Half marathon.
O pwede na sa
Saan?
padulo na.
Madulo na agad. Layo na agad.
Napagod eh.
Ikaw na sa fourth quarter, nasa halfway parang. Half time ka pa lang.
I
Okay.
think halfway. Because that's really where we are. We're like on the 22, 23 years of
Yeah.
marriage. And so there's a long way to go. We still have an 8-year-old daughter. Malayo pa talaga. Anong ending ang bata pa
Malayo
ng
pa
mga anak
dapat.
natin.
Oo.
Ano yung
Diyan naman
time
yung
na
eldest namin si Sancho eh.
Siya na magpalaki.
they help?
Yeah,
Di
of
ba?
course.
Nagtutulungan yung mga yan, di
Yes,
ba?
yes.
Si kuya, si
Laki nga ng
ate.
gap ng mga anak namin.
What are the gaps again? You
It's
have-
like, we have a 19-year-old, a 14-year-old, and an 8.
Yan.
Wow. Grade school, high school, college. Literally.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect.
Pwede na rin
Keeps us
kayo
young.
mag-parenting seminar.
Have you ever hit the wall or kami
Yeah.
ni Maricel, we have many times. That's when you want to quit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's a
the
tough race.
30th kilometer usually is when people in the marathon hit a wall na parang sasabihin nila, ba't ko ba ito ginagawa? Or ano ba to? Tutuloy ko pa ba? Or magkakaroon siya ng second wind to finish well.
Oh, wow.
Di ba kayo napaisip?
Ngayon lang ako napaisip about that.
Ako din,
Nako,
parang
di
hindi ko
pa,
pa siya
di pa.
naisip.
So siguro
Oh.
wala pa.
Hindi pa ninyo siguro na-hit yung
Sorry po,
Muna natin.
pinasok tayo sa isip din.
Huwag muna natin abutin yung wall na yun.
Ayaw nyo ng wall na yun.
So parang wall, when you say wall, like dead end?
No, it's just
not.
like a place of reckoning. Like, you question
Yeah,
or
you
you
question,
decide or
you
then
reassess,
you get a second
is this
wind.
worth it to continue? Mga ganon.
It's a
Which has
time
happened
of
to us
reckoning.
several times.
Really?
Yeah.
Hopefully you
never.
get stronger after that.
As together ba yan?
Oh,
Yung
as a couple.
couple
It's,
marriage.
it's not a negative thing.
Yeah.
It's just you hit a wall that allows you to reassess your
Reflect,
strategy, your
reevaluate.
situation.
Siguro mga-
Meron naman.
Meron
Kung ganun
naman,
pala
yeah.
yung mag-iisip.
Yeah.
Ano ba?
Parang
Basahin
natigilan ka para
Ah,
mag-isip, ano ba
Yeah.
next strategy natin dito?
may mga ganon.
May mga-
Yeah.
yeah.
Not very major. Like,
Yeah.
not like unforgettable moment in our lives. But, there are days, or some nights that we ask ourselves, oh, are we still doing the right thing? Are we still on the same page about, things?
Pero
Diba?
mabilis naman siya ma-resolve. Eh. That's
Oo.
Alam
Kasi
mo,
nga,
siguro kayo lang yung kausap namin na hindi pa nag-hit ng wall.
talaga ba?
Galing, ha? Galing, ha? So what
Amazing.
do you think is one reason why you have not reached that point na question nyo kung dapat pa kayo magsama?
Siguro yung open communication. Kasi I tell her kagad.
Okay.
Ito yung nafe-feel ko.
Okay.
Oo.
I don't feel insecure. Sabi ko, ito yung nafe-feel ko.
Oo, kasi dati Han, yung quality movement, you check the quality at the end. And then you reject or you accept. Ngayon, quality movement, every step you check
Yes.
so that before it gets really bad, nagagawan mo na ng paraan.
Hindi na
So
kami
yun-
aabot.
Kasi like me,
Oo,
I
yun.
tell her, ito yung nafe-feel ko.
He's very expressive.
Oh,
For a man.
oh.
Ito yung nararamdaman ko. It doesn't make me less of a man, but I tell her.
Galing,
That's
galing.
great.
And
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
siya naman mag-a-adjust. Di ba?
Nag-adjust ka naman.
Oo,
Oh, yeah.
nag-a-adjust yan.
Oh, that's so nice to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah. But to be very honest, kaming dalawa, I feel like sometimes nga, mas girl si Jib.
The
In terms
feminine
of-
side.
In terms of, the usuals.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yung sasabihin nila yung mahanap,
Mm.
siya yon, hindi ako yon. I'm like, go with the flow. Or yung mga, hindi ako masyadong nakakapag all-girls trip kasi lagi ako hinahanap nito, clingy. Yung ganun ba? Usually, wives
Clingy
yun
ka
eh.
pala.
Oo. Or di ba usually lalaki yung mag-gimmick. Ako hindi naman sobrang mag-gimmick pero mahilig talaga ako sa
Yeah.
night out with, my high school barkada. Ito hindi, homebody. Wedding sa bahay lang. Buong buwan. So like, in that sense, sometimes Jib would, ask me to sit down and then sabihin niya, this is something na I didn't appreciate last week, blah, 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 or yesterday, or today. So, he's very vocal. For a guy, I appreciate it kasi nga, napaka-open ng communication namin. Hindi ako mauubusan ng kausap.
Guys,
You know, parang
pick up
nakikita
a
ko
lesson or two. Come on. It's okay. Bring out the feminine side. Na importante yun.
Importante talaga.
Sa bahay namin ako nagluluto. Sa bahay namin ako nag-aayos ng kwarto.
Exactly.
Ako ang pumipili ng mga bulaklak. Ako nagre-rearrange ng furniture.
Oo,
Pag
why
sira ang aircon, siya ang papagawa. Siya, pag refrigerator siya.
And it's
Right?
perfectly fine.
Yes, that's fine.
role.
Yun yung gusto, minsan yun yung gusto natin eh. Di ba?
Yeah. Wala walang insecurity about those things.
Ang nakikita ko kasi,
Sometimes I go to the market
Oo nga.
Kanya hindi niya, meron siyang gustong lutuin the next day.
Oo.
Sabi niya, kailangan niya ng ganito.
Siya mag-grocery.
Ako mag-grocery.
Galing.
Enjoy pa ako mag-grocery.
Galing.
kasi alam niyo yung
Makabili pa ako
position
ng wine.
ninyo. And ang nakikita ko kasi like the level of excellence that I see in Nice Print is the same level of excellence I see here now. Because there is assessment, there's evaluation, there's evolution. And I've seen Nice Print through all these years na nag-start kayo and then nag-evolve kayo, nag-improve kayo ng quality ninyo. And I see this before my eyes right now.
Thank
so,
you.
it's a message to also a lot of people na hindi mo pwedeng i-separate yung personal and professional life mo. Kayo
Definitely.
talaga yun.
Definitely. You can't fake it. And I always say the company is a reflection of who the owners are. And in the same way, you would be the reflection of that company. Kasi, it starts with the head of the company.
Kayo
As
ambassador.
owners.
Kayo ambassador.
Integrity-wise.
Right.
'Di ba? Paano ka makipag-deal sa tao is also how you would deal with your business. So, yung mga bagay na yun yung magpapatakbo eh. And so kung ano kami bilang tao, bilang even inside our house, even with the yayas. That's also how we want to run the business and how we want our clients to feel.
Well, every marathon has a last few miles, no? At ini-imagine namin, parati ng Maricel, every time we run, okay, how's the finish line gonna look like? Kayo po, naisip nyo na ba how you want the last few miles to look like? You know, how is this marathon marriage, your marriage, how do you want it to climax, you know, towards the end?
So ako siguro ay yung faith lang sa Diyos.
Amen.
Diba? You have to have faith and then let go and let God. Siya nang bahala eh.
Yeah.
Diba? You just have to pray every day. Every Sunday, you go to Mass. Diba? And then pray and then siya nang bahala. Iga-guide ka niya throughout.
So keep the faith.
Of course.
Yeah.
Number
all
one
the
yun.
way till
Number
the
one.
end.
Through and through.
Kasi
yeah.
pag may faith ka, you'll be guided well. Diba? Pag wala kang faith, syempre, nandun ka sa crooked lines. Diba? So ako, that's how simple life for me.
Sabi ni Paul yan, I forget what is behind and I strain towards what is ahead. You know? How about you, Charisse? How do you see it? Gumagawa ka ng maraming video. Ano ang climax ng video ninyo?
I would think it's gonna be a little bit more relaxed.
Oh, okay. Yes,
It's
yes.
been intense.
Oo nga.
Intense, not our marriage, but
Oo,
our lives.
Oo.
As a married couple, it's been so busy, been so, you know, we've been practically everywhere. So, you know, when I look at the last, you know, sabi mo nga yung pa-finish line, parang I would wanna enjoy the fruit of our labor.
Yes, mas relax, mas serene,
Mas serene, mas
reflective, mga ganon, di ba?
Walang
may
chaos.
oras na
Oo.
sa isa't isa.
Prepare
mas-
for that, guys. Come
yeah,
on. Yes,
I would
yes,
love
yes.
that. And, you know, to just really be in the moment and just hindi na kailangan tumakbo ng tumakbo
Yes.
about so many things in life. And I also wanted to say na sabi nila talaga kailangan mag-invest ka sa marriage mo. Kasi nga, in the end, kayo pa rin magkasama,
Tama.
di ba? I used to hear that from my mom and my dad, and it's true. I see couples sometimes na sobrang invested nila sa mga anak. And there's no problem naman talaga. Pero pag nakalimutan mo na yung spouse mo, you know, at the expense of your marriage, ang mangyayari, paano na kayo? Pag
Exactly.
umalis na yung mga anak mo,
Yeah.
Oo.
nag-asawa na sila, nagsarili ng buhay, may sariling anak.
At saka kung gagawin mo yun ang gagawin rin nila.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So,
So,
it's-
kami talaga, number one is isa't isa. Siyempre, the Lord, kaming dalawa isa't isa. And I feel like, dun sa magiging finish line, we would still be very happy kasi we're really best friends.
Galing.
We are best
Admirable.
friends. Yung hindi ako natatakot na pag umalis yung mga anak ko, hindi ako iiyak ng todo-todo kasi may iwan ako, wala na ako, anak, paano na? At may iwan ako with you. Walang ganon. So I'm just so happy because we're really best friends.
That's great.
Oh.
That's great to hear. And thank you so much for being among our best friends. You have journeyed with us, the Pangilinan family.
We
Through
love the
the
Pangilinan
years,
family.
guys.
We love you.
Yung mga
Such
wedding ng
great-
Pangilinan, Diyos ko, Anthony, ano? Tuwing pupunta ako, lahat ng pamangkin, nakakatuwa.
Ikaw na naman.
Always ako yun, sabihin nila, ikaw na naman. Yeah.
Been a
Such a
great
joy.
part of our own journey as a couple. Kami ni Maricel, Nice Sprit. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you so
Vivian
much.
Charisse.
Thank you.
Marriage is a marathon.
Marathon.
And thank you for journeying with us.
Yes.
Our pleasure.
So you have watched Jibby and Charisse here at Marriage is a Marathon, the podcast, season 2.
God bless, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Marriage is a Marathon, the podcast, season 2.
Thank you so much, Mango, for our outfits for today. This episode was shot at Midnight Dream Studio.
For feedback, suggestions, questions, please comment below. And don't forget to follow us on our socials, Anthony Pangilinan and Mommy Maricel.
Run it one step at a time. See you in our next podcast. And God bless you.